There's a woman at your workplace who never joins lunch groups, another one who turned down a promotion because it required too much team collaboration. And that friend who's been single for 3 years, not heartbroken, just uninterested. What do they have in common? They make people viscerally uncomfortable without doing anything wrong. The real reason people fear Sigma females has nothing to do with confidence or independence. It's far more primal than that, and once you understand it, you'll see why they've been trying to tame you your entire life. This is about the fear you trigger just by existing. Here's the truth nobody wants to admit. Human beings are obsessed with hierarchy. Alpha at the top, betas supporting, everyone else scrambling for position. We're hardwired to place people on a ladder because it helps us understand where we stand. Then the Sigma female walks in, and the entire system glitches. She's not competing for the top position, so she's not an alpha. But she's not submissive or following, so she's not a beta. She exists outside the hierarchy entirely, and that breaks people's brains. Because if she's not playing the game, what does that say about everyone who is? This is the first real reason for the fear. The Sigma female's existence questions the validity of the entire social structure. She's not rebelling against it. Rebellion acknowledges the system. She's simply ignoring it, living as if it doesn't exist. And that's far more threatening than rebellion. When the alpha female walks in, everyone knows what to do: defer, compete, or align. Clear rules. But when the Sigma walks in, nobody knows how to relate to her. She won't compete for dominance. She won't submit to authority. She just is. That unpredictability creates anxiety. Humans fear what they cannot categorize, and she refuses to be categorized. The corporate world especially hates this. They need everyone competing, everyone wanting to climb, but she's the one who says, "I don't want your corner office," and means it. She's the one who rejects leadership opportunities not because she can't handle them, but because the role would require her to play politics. She finds exhausting. And every time she opts out of the hierarchy, she exposes how arbitrary it all is, how much energy everyone else is wasting fighting for positions she doesn't even value. That's terrifying to people whose entire identity is built on their rank. Sigma females trigger in others something so primal it happens before conscious thought. It's the same mechanism that kept our ancestors alive, and you've been activating it without knowing. Stay close. Let's go deep into the psychology here, because this is where it gets dark and fascinating. In tribal times, there were two types of people who operated outside the group structure: threats and outcasts. Warriors who didn't need the tribe's protection, shamans who held mysterious knowledge, and exiles who'd been cast out. Our brains are still wired with that ancient programming. When we encounter someone who genuinely doesn't need the group, our limbic system, the primitive brain, fires off an alarm. Why don't they need us? Are they a threat? Are they plotting something? The Sigma female triggers this ancient fear response constantly. She's not lonely, so she's not an outcast. She's not aggressive, so she's not an obvious threat. But she's definitely outside the pack, and that activates a primal unease in people's nervous systems. They can't articulate why she makes them uncomfortable. It's a gut feeling, an instinct, a sense that something's off. But here's the twist. Nothing's off. She's just operating from a different operating system entirely. While everyone else is running on tribal belonging equals survival, she's running on sovereignty equals freedom. While they're asking, "How do I fit in?" she's asking, "Does this align with who I am?" And that difference in programming creates a disconnect so profound it registers as danger in other people's bodies. Here's where the biological fear gets even more specific. The Sigma female doesn't need rescue, doesn't need saving, doesn't need fixing, and for a world that's built entire industries around women's supposed needs: beauty, self-help, dating, wellness. Her self-sufficiency is an economic and social threat. Men fear her because she doesn't need their protection or provision. She's handled her own crises, built her own security, created her own happiness. So what's their role? What do they offer someone who's already complete? That existential question terrifies them, because if she doesn't need them, they have to be chosen, and being chosen requires actual value, not just performance of value. Women fear her for a different reason. She's proof that the struggle isn't necessary. While they're exhausting themselves trying to balance everyone's needs, she's simply not. While they're contorting to maintain relationships that drain them, she's comfortable alone. Her peace exposes their chaos. And instead of choosing peace for themselves, they resent her for having it. There's another layer here that's even more primal. The Sigma female has predator energy, not prey energy, not in a violent way, in an awareness way. She watches, she observes, she reads people with unsettling accuracy. She notices patterns, inconsistencies, lies, and she does it all quietly, without announcing her observations. Predators in nature are silent, observant, patient. Prey is reactive, loud, constantly checking the environment. The Sigma female's stillness, her observation, her patience, it all codes as predator behavior to people's subconscious. And everyone wants to believe they're the predator, not the prey. When they're around her, they suddenly feel watched, evaluated, seen through. And that reversal of the power dynamic is deeply, deeply uncomfortable. What I'm revealing next is the reason they call you intimidating when you've barely spoken. It's about mirror neurons and the stories people tell themselves when they can't read you. This explains every weird interaction you've ever had. Keep watching. Here's the psychological mechanism that creates the most fear. The Sigma female is a walking mirror, and most people hate what they see in that reflection. She's not performing, not code switching, not adjusting her personality based on who's in the room. She's the same person in every context, just different levels of open. And that consistency is jarring to people who wear different masks for different audiences. When they're around her, they become hyper-aware of their own performance. Their fake laugh, their exaggerated stories, their people-pleasing, their desperation for approval. She's not judging them. She's just being herself. But her authenticity highlights their inauthenticity. And nobody wants to confront that. So instead of looking inward, they project outward. She thinks she's better than everyone. She's so serious. She needs to relax. No, they need to stop performing, but that's too uncomfortable to admit. Every choice the Sigma female makes reflects the choices everyone else didn't make. She said no to the relationship that required her to shrink. They said yes, and now they're miserable. She walked away from the job that paid well but destroyed her peace. They stayed, and now they're burnt out. She removed friends who were energy vampires. They kept them, and now they're drained. Her boundaries expose their lack of boundaries. Her standards expose their compromises. Her peace exposes their chaos. And that mirror is brutal. Because deep down, they know they had the same choices. They could have said no. They could have walked away. They could have chosen themselves. But they didn't. And now they're watching someone who did, thriving in the exact freedom they sacrificed. That creates a specific kind of resentment. Not anger at her, anger at themselves, redirected at her. This is the most threatening mirror of all. The Sigma female proves you don't need what society says you need. You don't need a partner to be complete. You don't need a squad to be valid. You don't need constant social interaction to be mentally healthy. You don't need external validation to know your worth. She's living proof that the entire narrative is optional. And if that narrative is optional, then what have they been sacrificing for? What have they been chasing? What have they been settling for? The Sigma female forces people to confront the possibility that they've been playing a game they didn't need to play, following rules that weren't real, seeking approval from people whose opinions don't matter. And that realization is so destabilizing, so threatening to their entire worldview, that it's easier to fear her than face it. There's a specific interaction that flips everything. And when you understand it, you'll recognize your true power. This is the moment that changes how you see every relationship. Here's where the psychology gets really interesting. The fear of the Sigma female eventually transforms. It becomes fascination, obsession, need. Because humans are drawn to what they can't understand, we're compelled by mystery. We want to solve puzzles. And the Sigma female is a puzzle that won't be solved. This is when the fear flips. When people who are uncomfortable with her suddenly become obsessed with gaining her approval, they start seeking her out, asking her opinion, wanting to know what she thinks, trying to impress her, craving her validation. Because they've realized something. Her indifference isn't weakness, it's power. Her selectivity isn't limitation, it's discernment. Her distance isn't coldness, it's protection of something valuable. And now, they want in. But here's the cruel irony. By the time they realize her value, she's already decided they're not worth her energy. She's not punishing them. She assessed them accurately from the beginning. She saw the red flags they thought they were hiding. She noticed the performance they thought was convincing. She recognized the inauthenticity they thought was acceptable, and she made her decision quietly, internally, without announcement. By the time they're ready to see her clearly, she's already seen them completely, and found them wanting. This creates a specific panic in people, the realization that they're unimportant to someone they've become obsessed with. She's not watching their stories. She's not asking about their life. She's not competing for their attention. She genuinely doesn't care. And in a world where everyone is performing for an audience, being invisible to someone is the ultimate blow to the ego. Men especially spiral here. They're used to women they can charm, impress, or wear down. But her? She's unmoved by their tactics. Their charisma doesn't land. Their persistence annoys rather than flatters. Their attention means nothing because she never needed it. The Sigma female doesn't reject them because they're not good enough. She rejects them because good enough isn't her metric. She's asking, do you align with my life? Not are you impressive to society? And most people fail that filter immediately. Here's the final piece of why the fear becomes obsession. The Sigma female is rare. Most people are performing. Most people are seeking validation. Most people need constant interaction to feel okay. But her? She's different. Actually different, not performatively different. And humans value rarity. We're drawn to what's scarce. We want what others can't have. The moment people realize she's not playing the game everyone else is playing, she becomes the most valuable player on the board. Not because she's trying to be, because she genuinely doesn't care about the board. And that authentic disinterest is magnetic in a world of desperate interest. So, if you're the Sigma female hearing this, understand? The fear you create is your power. Not power over others. Power over your own life. You don't need to make people comfortable with your existence. You don't need to explain why you operate differently. You don't need to soften your standards so others feel better about their compromises. Your job is not to be understood. Your job is to be true. And if that truth makes people uncomfortable, afraid, or obsessed, that's data. That's information about who can handle your frequency and who can't. The ones who fear you were never meant to know you. The ones who can't handle your independence were never going to appreciate your depth. The ones who call you intimidating were always going to need you small. Let them fear you. That fear is their recognition of your power before their ego can admit it. That discomfort is their intuition telling them you're operating at a level they haven't reached yet. You are not the problem. You are the solution to a problem they don't want to solve. Their own lack of authenticity, boundaries, and self-sufficiency. The Sigma female doesn't dim her light. She doesn't shrink her standards. She doesn't explain her choices to people who can't understand them. She just continues existing in her truth, unbothered by the fear she creates, untouched by the obsession that follows. Because she knows something everyone else is still learning. The only approval that matters is your own. And once you have that, you're untouchable. If this revealed something you've always felt but never could name, hit subscribe. We're building something powerful here. Comment sovereign. If you've stopped explaining yourself to people who are determined to misunderstand you, and remember they don't fear your coldness. They fear that you found warmth within yourself and no longer need theirs. Stay powerful. Stay selective. Stay unbothered. Let them wonder. You've got empires to build.